The wind moves gently through the open fields of Heartland, but something feels missing. The ranch looks the same, the fences still stand, the horses still run, yet there's a quiet ache in the air. It's been years since Ty left, and though time has passed, his absence still lingers like a shadow over the golden Alberta sky. For Amy Fleming, every sunrise brings both strength and sorrow, a reminder that love, even when lost, leaves a mark that never fades. Life at Heartland has changed. Amy wakes up before dawn, just as she always has, but the silence feels different now. There's no soft voice calling her name, no laughter echoing across the barn. She moves through her daily routine with calm focus, feeding the horses, checking fences, training the young ones, but inside, her heart is still healing from a wound that never fully closed. Ty's passing left a space that no one can fill. And though she tries to stay strong for her daughter Lyndy, there are nights when she still cries softly. Alone in the dark, Jack watches her from a distance, his old eyes heavy with both pride and pain. He knows that Amy's strength comes from her love for this land, the same land that took Ty away, but also the one that keeps her going. Jack doesn't say much. He doesn't have to. His quiet presence is enough. He's there every morning at the stables, making sure Amy eats breakfast, fixing broken tools just to stay close. Lisa helps where she can, filling the house with warmth, reminding everyone that life doesn't stop for grief. Lou tries to keep the family steady. As Mayor Ann's sister, she carries her own burdens but hides them behind a brave smile. She knows Amy needs space to heal, but she also knows that the ranch can't run on memories alone. So she brings new business ideas, new energy, maybe too much at times, but it's her way of showing love. And then there's Lyndy, growing fast, curious and kind, a little mirror of both her parents. She doesn't fully understand what gone means. Sometimes she asks Amy when her dad will come back. Each time, Amy smiles and says, "He's always with us." And though the words hurt, they're true in their own quiet way. The horses feel it too. Amy believes animals can sense emotions. They respond to energy more than words. Spartan, her oldest companion, seems calmer when she's near. When Amy brushes his mane, it's as if he's listening to her unspoken thoughts, grounding her pain in something pure and familiar. Working with the horses has always been Amy's therapy, and now it's her path to recovery. But grief doesn't follow rules. Some days, Amy feels strong, almost at peace. Other days, she feels like she's drowning in memories. She keeps Ty's photo on her bedside table, next to his old bracelet. Sometimes, when the ranch is quiet and the sun sets low, she swears she can feel him beside her, not as a ghost, but as a presence. A reminder that love like theirs never truly ends. Still, Amy knows she has to keep moving forward. The ranch needs her. Her family needs her. Lyndy needs her. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every lesson she's learned from the horses, it all leads back to one truth. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning to live again. And though Ty is gone, his spirit lives in every corner of Heartland, in the laughter of a child, the strength of a family, and the endless horizon that stretches beyond the ranch gates. Amy doesn't know it yet, but this is only the beginning of a new chapter. The winds of change are stirring in Heartland, and with them comes a promise that even after loss, love can find its way home. Spring slowly finds its way back to Heartland. The snow melts from the fences, the creeks begin to sing again, and the fields, once silent, wake up with the promise of life. For Amy, the changing season feels different this year. It's not just the earth that's thawing, it's her heart. After so many months of moving through her days like a ghost, something small, almost invisible, begins to shift inside her. She doesn't notice it at first. It begins with simple moments, a laugh from Lyndy that catches her off guard, a sunrise that feels brighter than usual, a horse that seems to respond to her touch with a kind of understanding she hasn't felt in a long time. One morning, Amy takes Lyndy down to the training pen. A young mare named Willow has been brought in wild, nervous, and unwilling to trust anyone. The ranch hands say she's too far gone, too broken to train. But Amy looks into Willow's eyes and sees something familiar: fear, pain, a spirit that's been hurt but not destroyed. Amy smiles softly and whispers, "You remind me of someone I used to know." She doesn't mean Ty exactly, but a part of him, the strength to heal. Even after everything falls apart, that day something awakens. Amy doesn't push the mare. She simply stands in the pen, patient and calm, letting Willow come to her. It's what Ty used to do, quiet patience instead of force. By the end of the day, the mare takes a single step closer. Just one, but enough. It's a sign. Amy realizes that healing isn't about forgetting the past, but allowing it to guide her forward. Back at the house, Jack watches her through the window. He can see the change too, the way Amy moves, lighter, freer, as if a bit of the old spark has returned. That night, he sits with her by the fire. The room smells of coffee and pine wood. For a while, neither of them speak. Then Jack says, "You know, Ty would be proud. You're still helping the ones who need it most." Amy looks into the flames, eyes soft but filled with a quiet strength. "He taught me how," she says. Even when he's not here, it feels like he is. The next few weeks bring more small miracles. Lou organizes a community fundraiser at the ranch to support local animal rescues. The event brings people from all over Hudson, families, children, old friends. For the first time in a long while, Heartland is filled with laughter again. The sound of music, the smell of fresh hay, and the sight of horses running freely across the pasture create a sense of renewal that the ranch desperately needed. Amy finds herself smiling without forcing it. Later, when the sun dips low, she and Lyndy walk hand in hand along the fence line. Lyndy stops and points to the horizon, where the sky glows with the last light of day. "Mom," she says, "do you think Daddy can see us from up there?" Amy's heart squeezes. She kneels beside her daughter, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "I think he sees us every day," she says softly. "And I think he's happy we're smiling again." Lyndy nods, satisfied with that answer, and runs ahead to chase the wind. That night, when the house is quiet, Amy sits alone in the barn. The air is cool and filled with the soft sounds of horses breathing. She opens a small wooden box, Ty's old keepsake box. Inside are the little things he loved, a photo of them at the rodeo, a faded note that reads, "Always believe in what you can't see." She holds it in her hand for a long time, feeling the weight of it, the warmth of it. Then she smiles, a real, deep smile, the kind that comes not from happiness, but from peace. Heartland has always been a place where people come to heal, but now Amy realizes it's also where she must heal. The land, the animals, her family, they're not just reminders of what she's lost, but reasons to keep going. Every sunrise is a second chance, every hoofbeat a reminder that life moves forward, even when it hurts. In the distance, the barn lights flicker softly, and for a brief moment, Amy feels something, a presence, a calm warmth that feels like Ty's hand on her shoulder. She doesn't turn around. She doesn't have to. She just whispers into the quiet, "Thank you." The night carries her words into the dark, as if the stars themselves are listening. And as she steps out into the cool night air, Amy knows one thing for certain: healing isn't a moment. It's a journey. And her journey, the one Ty began with her, is far from over. The heart of Heartland still beats, and within it, so does his love. The first storm of summer rolled in quietly over Heartland, thick clouds, low thunder, and that strange, electric stillness that makes the world hold its breath. Amy stood at the barn doors, watching the sky shift from gold to gray. The air smelled of rain and earth, and though it was just another evening on the ranch, something about it felt different. A weight she couldn't name pressed against her chest. For the first time in a long while, she felt like something or someone was trying to reach her. All day, small signs had followed her. A photo frame she was sure she had left on the kitchen counter had fallen face down, but when she picked it up, it wasn't broken. It was standing perfectly straight, as if placed there gently. Spartan, her loyal horse, kept looking toward the old trails Ty once rode. snorting softly like he sensed a familiar presence. And when Amy walked past the loft that used to be Ty's workspace, she swore she heard the faint sound of his laughter, warm, distant, but real enough to stop her in her tracks. Amy tried to shake it off. Grief had a way of playing tricks on the heart. She knew that. Still, there was something about this night that refused to let her be. She sat in the barn, the rain tapping against the roof like whispers. Lyndy had gone to bed, Jack and Lisa were asleep, and for once, the entire ranch was still. She closed her eyes and breathed deeply, letting the sound of the rain fill her. Then, in that silence, she heard it, a voice. Soft, familiar, carried in the rhythm of the storm. "Don't give up, Amos." Her eyes flew open. The voice wasn't loud. It wasn't even clear. But it was his. It was Ty. Her heart raced. She looked around, nothing but shadows and the faint glow of the lantern. "Ty," she whispered. Her voice trembled, part hope, part disbelief. There was no answer, but she could feel something, warmth, calm, and love surrounding her like the air itself was holding her. Tears filled her eyes before she even realized she was crying. For months, she had begged for a sign, for something to tell her he was still with her. And now here it was, not a ghost, not an illusion, but a presence that reached beyond what she could see later that night. Amy opened Ty's old journal, the one he had written during his early days at Heartland. She hadn't touched it in years. As she flipped through the pages, she found something she'd never seen before, a folded note tucked between two entries. In Ty's familiar handwriting, it read, "If life ever pulls you away from me, remember, the road always leads back home. Follow the horses. Follow your heart." Amy pressed the paper to her chest, sobbing quietly. She didn't know how the note had ended up there, or why she'd never found it before. But in that moment, she didn't question it. She just knew it was him. Ty was reminding her that love doesn't end when life does. It continues in the people we touch, the memories we keep, and the dreams we dare to live again. The next morning, the storm had passed. The ranch looked washed clean, shining under the new sun. Amy stepped outside, feeling lighter than she had in years. The air was cool, crisp, and alive. Spartan was waiting for her near the fence, and when she approached, he nudged her shoulder, gentle, reassuring. She smiled through her tears. "Yeah," she whispered. "I know. He's still here." That day, Amy rode out to the old trail Ty used to love. It was overgrown now, the grass taller, the path faded. But as she rode deeper into the woods, she felt guided, as if the land itself was showing her the way. Eventually, she reached a small clearing she'd never seen before. The sunlight filtered through the trees in soft golden beams, and in the middle of it, carved into a tree trunk, were the initials T plus her breath caught. It was their spot. Ty had marked it years ago, long before their lives had changed. She placed her hand on the carving and whispered, "I found it." The wind picked up, rustling the leaves, and for a heartbeat, Amy swore she could hear Ty's voice again, closer this time, steady, loving, proud. "You were never lost, Amos. You just needed to remember who you are." She laughed softly through her tears. "I remember now," she whispered. That night, when Amy returned home, she felt something new, not grief, not sadness, but peace. She sat with Lyndy and told her stories about her dad, not the sad ones, but the funny, happy ones. They laughed together until Lyndy fell asleep, her tiny hand holding Amy's. For the first time in years, Amy didn't feel like half of something missing. She felt whole. Ty hadn't returned in body, but his presence had. Through memory, love, and spirit, he was back, woven into every moment of Heartland, every sunset, every heartbeat of the horses. And Amy finally understood what Ty meant by home. It wasn't just the ranch. It was the people she loved, the life she continued, and the courage to keep believing in what she couldn't see. Heartland was alive again. And so was she. The days that followed Ty's presence were different, softer, brighter, almost sacred. The heaviness that had clung to Heartland for years began to lift, not all at once, but like fog burning away under the morning sun. Amy felt it first. She woke up one morning before dawn, the sky still a pale silver, and for the first time in so long, she didn't feel the weight of yesterday. Instead, there was a calm, quiet joy in her heart, the kind that comes not from forgetting, but from finally learning how to carry love and loss side by side. She stepped out onto the porch with her coffee, the world still half asleep. In the distance, the horses moved slowly across the pasture, their silhouettes outlined in the soft glow of morning. Heartland had always been beautiful, but now it felt alive. The air carried laughter again. The barns were filled with work and chatter, not silence. Every corner of the ranch seemed to hum with the same steady heartbeat, one that had been missing since Ty's death. Jack noticed it too. He'd watched Amy grow from a young girl with wild dreams to a woman shaped by both love and pain. Now, watching her teach Lyndy how to guide a horse, he saw something in her he hadn't seen in years: light. "You've got that Fleming spirit back," he told her one evening, standing by the fence. Amy smiled. "Maybe it never really left," she said. "It was just waiting for me to find it again." Jack nodded, proud but quiet, his eyes glistening in the fading light. He didn't say it aloud, but in his heart, he whispered, "Ty would be proud of you." Amy. Life at Heartland began to bloom again. Lou, always the planner, started new community programs, inviting kids from Hudson to learn about horses and the healing they bring. The ranch was once again a place where broken spirits came to mend, not just animals, but people too. Lisa organized family dinners every weekend, filling the table with laughter, stories, and the warmth of togetherness that had been missing for too long. Even Tim, with all his stubbornness, softened. He spent more time at the ranch, teaching Lyndy how to ride and telling her stories about the wild days when he and Amy first started working together. And Lyndy, she was the brightest sign of all. Her laughter became the song of Heartland, echoing through the fields, pulling everyone closer. She reminded them what Ty once brought into their lives: hope. One afternoon, Amy found her daughter standing by Spartan, brushing his mane with small, careful hands. "He likes me, Mommy," Lyndy said proudly. Amy smiled, tears stinging her eyes. "Of course he does. He liked your daddy too." Lyndy grinned and looked up at the open sky. "Then he already knows me." That simple sentence hit Amy's heart like sunlight breaking through clouds. The family's healing didn't happen in a grand moment. It unfolded in these quiet, ordinary days, the kind that Ty always loved. Fixing fences, feeding the horses, sharing meals. Every little act became a way of honoring him. Even the land seemed to respond. The fields grew greener, the air warmer, and the sunsets more golden. Heartland was coming back to life, and so were they. But healing doesn't mean the pain disappears. It means learning to live with it differently. One evening, Amy rode out alone, just like she used to with Ty. The wind rushed past her face, carrying with it memories she no longer ran from. She stopped by the creek, their old spot, and for a moment, she could almost feel him there beside her. Not as a ghost, not as a dream, but as part of the air, the earth, the very rhythm of the ranch. She closed her eyes and whispered, "We're okay now. Ty, you can rest." Back at the house, the family gathered for dinner. Jack raised his glass in a quiet toast. "To Heartland," he said. "To family, to love, and to the ones we carry with us. Always." The table fell silent for a moment, everyone thinking of Ty. Then laughter returned, soft but full of life. That night, after everyone had gone to bed, Amy stood by the window, watching the moonlight stretch over the fields. She could see the barn lights glowing faintly, hear the soft nickers of the horses, and feel peace settle deep in her bones. She realized something beautiful. Heartland had never just been a ranch. It was a living memory, a keeper of stories, and a home for every soul that ever loved it. Amy placed her hand on the window glass, her reflection shimmering against the silver light. "Thank you," she whispered, not just to Ty, but to the land, the family, and the life they built together. The wind outside shifted gently, as if answering her. Heartland had seen heartbreak, love, loss, and rebirth, but this was its greatest season yet. Not because of drama or tragedy, but because, at last, Every heart on the ranch had learned how to heal. And as dawn crept over the horizon, painting the fields gold once more, one truth became clear. Love never leaves Heartland. It just changes form, finding new ways to live on.